Welcome to the No Te Rindas Intermediate English Stories Podcast. Felices Pascuas. Este es un podcast para hispanohablantes que quieren mejorar su comprensión auditiva del inglés de los Estados Unidos. Soy tu presentador Goyo, profesor de idiomas cerca de Atlanta, Georgia, en los EEUU. Gabo is still available on many past episodes, but is no longer making new ones with me. Pero de hecho lo voy a ver esta semana y me emociono mucho. So this episode will be about an informal practice that will likely appear very difficult to comprehend if no one explains it to you. When learning how to narrate stories, for example, it's necessary to understand the forms of say, such as I said, we said, she said, the preterite forms especially, right? When listening to people tell stories in real life, however, you may not always hear the word said. And by that I don't mean that you may hear synonyms or words related to said, like, say, replied or answered or stated, etc. I mean that you will hear words that if you look them up online, will provide no real clue, ninguna pista que ayude, as to their meaning. I am talking about like and all. Like and all. Like and all are used to mean said in informal speech, and by the end of the show, I hope that you will have an ear for both of these words in this use. So like serves in the sentence to be short for was saying things like. Was saying things like. It can represent a one-time statement by the subject, or a series of statements or general trend that is repeated. It is often emotionally charged or emphatic in nature. Here's an example. Are you saying that Patty didn't return the plate to you after the party? No, she didn't. I asked her about it on Monday when I saw her, and she was like, your daughter has borrowed so many of my clothes and has never returned them. I'm keeping the plate. I can't believe it. In that case, the person answering the question is stating the general nature of Patty's response as something like that my daughter has never returned borrowed clothes to her. But it's stated as, she was like, da-da-da-da. It almost sounds like nonsense, like jerigonza, like she was like, but it's corto for she said something like, da-da-da-da. And it works for patterns or trends, too. Listen to these two police officers talk about the wife of a suspect. Yeah, I went over there 5 times looking for him. The wife kept saying the most ridiculous excuses as to why he wasn't around. Well, what did she say? Oh, she was always like, he's feeding the pigeons in the park, or he's teaching the orphans how to read over at the church. He was probably hiding in a closet. She had no shame about lying for him. She was always like, da-da-da-da. So here it's short for, she was always saying things like. The policeman talking is emphasizing what a bad person that she is, or how ridiculous her statements are, by introducing them with, she was always like. I think that most of the time when this is used, it means that the person making the statement is about to say something off the norm, either highly positive or highly negative. The point of like is to emphasize that what is about to be said is unexpected. For example, here's a positive one. I really miss my grandfather. He was always so kind to me. He was always like, here's $5. Don't tell your mother. Or, have another cookie. I won't say a word to anyone. He was so very generous. So that's like. We'll hear more examples in a minute. But I want to stress that the word all can also be used in this way, and it, to me, sounds even stranger. Here's an example. Did Caleb explain why he had blue stains all over his shirt? Well, sort of. He was all, I'm around kids at school constantly. Who knows what they have on their little hands that could stain my shirt? So he was all means he said. Or in this case, here comes a pattern. What did the student say when you confronted him about being loud in the hallway? You know, every time he avoided responsibility. He was always all, well, that wasn't me. Or, why do you always pick on me? Or, why don't you ever say something to those other kids over there? He drives me crazy. So again, we're listening for like or all to be the word said. Here is tonight's story. An email from a college student to his mother. Listen for each example of like and all. Dear Mom, I appreciate you sending me some new socks. They arrived from Amazon yesterday. My roommate was like, my mom never sends me anything. Would it be okay if he came home with me on the 30th? He's not really getting along with his mom right now, or his dad. I had to pull an all-nighter on Wednesday night, and it took me until the weekend to feel normal again. My head hurt, my knees were creaking, and I nearly fell asleep in my car while sitting in a parking lot. My body was all, you are not 18 years old anymore. You get enough sleep or I will punish you. And why did I have to stay up all night and pull an all-nighter? Well, you remember that professor that I was telling you about that gave me a B on my last test? I asked her if I could turn in the paper on Friday if I brought it to her office, and she was all, sure, but it will be 20 points off for being late. No way was I going to take that hit. But I turned it in on time, and I feel better now. Thanks for telling me about Philip coming to the house and asking about me. Please don't tell him that I will be coming home. I don't know why he wants to be friends now. In high school, he was always all, nobody likes you, and your pants are too short, and I heard some girls laughing about your car. That's all. Love, Rudy. All right, it's time for our quiz. ¿Qué se queda en el coco hoy? Just one question this week. Just one question in the quiz. If I say, Laurel was like, I wanted that leather jacket, but there was no way that my mom would give me any money for it. Do I mean that A, Laurel was like a leather jacket? B, Laurel said that she wanted a leather jacket? Or C, Laurel wanted to buy something like a leather jacket? If you said Laurel said that she wanted a leather jacket, that is correct. Well done. When we hear like or all in this context, it means something like the word said. If you want to support this podcast, please go to www.patreon.com/No Te Rindas Podcast. It's time to shout out our cities. Hello to Singapore, Dubai City, Neath, Wales, and Bogota today. I really appreciate you listening to the show. I want to speak very specifically to my listeners in Mexico tonight. I will be visiting family and touring your country in June, specifically Chiapas, Tabasco, La Ciudad de Mexico, and Querétaro. If you would like to have churros y café conmigo and practice your English, it would be my honor. Reach out to me at questions@noteerindaspodcast.us and let's talk. Do you have children that you would like to learn English? Show them my kids show on YouTube called Where Does Gary Go? Search Where Does Gary Go channel on YouTube or click the link in the description of this episode. Where Does Gary Go has music and animation and characters that go beyond what this podcast tries to accomplish as an intermediate level of English. It's for absolute beginners. It's for principiantes. It is entertaining and easy to watch. And right now, for example, I'm working on a silly song about going to the park in a car, on foot, and by plane. It will be charming and funny. Thanks. If you want to visit my website, it's noterrindaspodcast.us. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.